Okay, so you've probably seen beetroot juice everywhere, right? It's been getting all this buzz for being amazing for your blood pressure. But is that for real or is it just another health fad? Well, a brand new study decided to find out, and honestly, the results are not what you might expect. Let's dig in.
So, that's the big question, isn't it? Can this super bright, kind of earthy juice really help your heart in a measurable way? We're going to look at the science, break down this new study, and see what the evidence actually says. All right, first things first. Where did this whole idea even come from? It's not just a random guess. There's some real science behind why people think beetroot juice is a heart health hero. And it all boils down to one special little compound inside.
And that compound is dietary nitrate. Yep, just simple nitrates. Turns out beets are loaded with them. And when you drink that juice, those nitrates start this incredible chain reaction inside your body. A chain reaction that has a direct impact on your blood vessels.
So what's the end game of this chain reaction? It's all about making this one superstar molecule, nitric oxide. Now, think of nitric oxide as a chill pill for your blood vessels. It tells them to relax and widen up. And when they're wider, your blood can flow through more easily, which means, you guessed it, less pressure. It's a pretty elegant system, right? More nitric oxide, lower blood pressure.
Okay, so how do we get from a glass of juice to that amazing nitric oxide? It's actually a super interesting three-step process. Step 1, you drink the juice. Easy enough. Step 2, and this is the part that blows my mind, bacteria that live in your mouth get to work. They take those nitrates and turn them into something called nitrate. Then for step 3, your body takes that nitrite and finishes the job, converting it into that beneficial nitric oxide. So it's a team effort between you and your mouth bacteria.
So that's the theory. And it sounds great on paper, but we need proof. Does this actually work in the real world with real people? Well, that's exactly what this new 2025 study set out to discover. Let's see how they put it to the test.
Their setup was actually really smart. They didn't just get a random bunch of people. They specifically recruited 2 different groups, a younger crowd between 18 and 30 and an older group from 65 to 79. And this was the key to the whole thing. It let them ask, does this juice work differently depending on how old you are?
And here's how they did it. Everybody drank juice, but half of them got the real nitrate-packed stuff, and the other half got a placebo that looked and tasted identical. They couldn't tell the difference. But check this out. See that washout period? They actually had people use mouthwash. Why? To mess with the bacteria in their mouths. It was a brilliant way to see just how critical those little microbes really are to the whole nitrate to nitric oxide process.
All right, so the experiment is done. What happened? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. The results were surprising. The juice definitely did something, but its effect was way more specific than anybody thought. Okay, get ready for this. The juice only had a significant effect on blood pressure in the older group. That's right, the folks aged 65 to 79 saw a real benefit. But the younger group? Nothing. No real difference compared to the placebo. That was the first big shocker from the study.
So just how big of a deal was it for the older adults? We're talking an average drop of 4 points. That's 4 millimeters of mercury. Now I know 4 might not sound like a giant number, but trust me, when you're talking about blood pressure, any consistent drop like that is a really big win. It's medically significant. And there's another layer to this. The lead author of the study, Dr. Ani van Hattalo, actually noted that people who already had high blood pressure to begin with, well, they saw an even bigger drop. So it kind of seems like the juice works best for the very people who stand to benefit the most.
But this just raises the million-dollar question, right? Why the age difference? What's so special about the older group? The answer, incredibly, wasn't found in their hearts or their blood vessels. Nope. The clue is right back in their mouths.
You see, it turns out there's this constant battle of bacteria happening in our mouths. You've got the good guys, the helpful bacteria that are essential for converting nitrate to nitrite. But then you have the unhelpful ones, like a species called Prevotella, that actually interfere with that process. And what the study found was that the beetroot juice seemed to suppress these bad bacteria, but only in the older group. This cleared the way for the good bacteria to do their thing, make more nitrite, and ultimately more nitric oxide. Okay, so with all this fascinating science, let's bring it back to you. What's the takeaway here? Should you run out and start chugging beetroot juice? Well, let's talk about the pros and the cons. First, the pros. Even setting aside the whole blood pressure thing, this stuff is just plain good for you. It's packed with nutrients like folate, vitamin C, and potassium.
Plus, it has these things called polyphenols, which are plant compounds that can actually help protect the nitric oxide your body's already making. So, for general nutrition, it's a great addition for anyone, at any age.
But on the other hand, there are a few things to keep in mind. For some people, it can cause a bit of stomach trouble. It's also high in something called oxalates, so if you're someone who gets kidney stones, you'll want to be careful. And of course, we can't forget, this was a pretty small study, and the big benefit was really only seen in that 65-plus group.
So what's the bottom line here? Well, every expert agrees. Beetroot juice can be a nice supplement, but it is absolutely not a silver bullet. It's not going to magically fix everything. You can't just drink this and ignore all the other stuff that we know works for heart health.
And what is that other stuff? It's the big picture, the lifestyle foundations that you've heard before, because they are so important. We're talking about a heart-healthy diet like the DASH diet, keeping your sodium low, getting regular exercise, staying at a healthy weight, and managing your sleep and stress. These are the pillars of good heart health. The juice is just a little extra support, not a replacement for any of this.
And I want to leave you with this final thought. Maybe the most mind-blowing thing about this study isn't even the beetroot juice itself. Maybe it's the incredible link it reveals between the microbiome in our mouths, these tiny little organisms, and the health of our entire cardiovascular system. It really makes you wonder what other major health breakthroughs are hiding in places we've never even thought to look.